All right, let's start because the clock is ticking. Welcome to our panel. So I think I'll just jump in and have the panelists introduce themselves as part of answering the first question. So I guess let's start with a brief overview of the role of data science in your company and what you think are the data science challenges that your team has to handle. So let's start with Kira.
Hey everybody, I'm the chief scientist of eBay in Israel and director of data science of eBay. I'm also a visiting professor in the Technion, and I have the luxury of seeing some of my students here also coming and listening in this conference. I want to tell you a little bit about what we do in data science in eBay. So pretty much everybody thinks, okay, probably you're optimizing prices. What else can eBay do? But actually, I've been in eBay only for 6 months since they acquired my company. And what I like about the fact is that it actually helps a lady with 3 kids in Atlanta actually build a business. And because we're such Democrats, we let everybody write in complete free text what they want to sell and build entire stories. The only problem with free text and free images and free videos is that, well, it completely makes our life miserable for making sense out of it and building any experience. Even the simplest thing of you searching for a certain product, it's very hard when it's completely free text without any form. Giving you experiences like people who bought this also bought this is becoming almost impossible. So this is what we do. One of the main strategic efforts of eBay is structuring their data. And actually, Israel is the only one owning this strategic effort. And what we do all the time is we take all the text, all the image, all the voices that we get, and we build catalogs. We build experiences that, for example, giving an image and a text, and another one saying what's the probability of them being the same product. We build predictions about, hey, when you're going to get your product, based on all the information, including the weather that the person has to go through. So pretty much if you think about it, we're building a revolution of eBay. Before that, it was just a platform for e-commerce and letting people do all these interactions. But behind the scenes, we're actually building an economic graph of everything. If you think about it, everybody who wants to buy something or sell something, it goes through the platform. You can even, one of the people here suggested that we can actually predict what's the state of economy in different places. If you know the price of an iPhone, maybe you need to know which stock you want to buy, which stock you want to sell. But besides that, we can actually give our sellers recommendations, things like, hey, stop selling this bag, nobody likes it. But if you make it more red, people are going to buy it more. So this type of interactions, understanding of the data, and structuring complete text and images, this is what we do.
So, hi everyone, I'm Michal, I'm from IBM Haifa Research Lab. I'm a senior researcher. So I think in contrast to Kira, at IBM, mainly what we try to do is to take the data science and leverage it into businesses, help professionals and business to improve their decision making using this data science. So we can, I don't know, I presented some work on emotion detection. So if we are looking on call centers, we can use this in order to improve and help those kind of businesses. We also have some project in the finance. So if there is some analyst, in one project, it was trying, they only need one piece of information to help to improve their decision making. And that's all what they wanted, and we have to find it and show it. Other projects that we have are, of course, health. This is a big market for data science. Other, I think, interesting applications are help to design a better, I think, interaction with those systems. And also, I think this is one of the challenges, but maybe we'll talk about it later.
Thank you. So I'm Amitai. I'm the chief data scientist of Intel's Advanced Analytics Group that handles the company's data science challenges. Those of you who attended the keynote of our general manager this morning probably heard that data science plays a major role in Intel in the recent years. We're not just a hardware company. Our CEO says that we became a data company. And several thousands of people are engaged in this. And actually, data science has three different roles in the company. One role is internal. We have a $60 billion operation each year that generates lots of data, lots of types of data in our manufacturing, in our sales, in our marketing, in our design processes. And in the recent years, we started analyzing this data using machine learning and AI methods. And we upgrade this. We do with computers what people used to do. We make our processes much more efficient. Tell sales people who to call and what to offer, tells the machines in the factory what to do. And this yields 9-digit figures each year. So this is a main thing for Intel. Second thing is that we use data science in our products. So we offer hardware and software that has machine learning inside, not just Intel inside. Our last processor uses less power thanks to machine learning, and this is just one example. Hopefully soon we'll also offer autonomous cars, which also use machine learning. And last but not least, we build the hardware and software that enables data science and machine learning. Most of the machine learning tasks in the world run on Intel hardware. We recently formed a new group for AI products. We developed new accelerators that will soon be in the market, new software products that enable deep learning. You can hear a talk that I give about it in an hour in a different hall. So this is actually a great thing for Intel, and I must say that a major part of this effort is driven from Israel. In our group, we have 120 people who work on the most interesting data science parts of these efforts.
Thank you, Amitai. Actually, it's a good transition, starting with Israel. So my name is Yoelle Maarek. I'm a VP of Research at Yahoo, and I head the research division for the company, where we have several research teams all across the world. And I'm not going to do a pitch of engineering, the cool thing that we're doing at Yahoo. I'm going to, if you allow me, I'm going to do a pitch for research. I think more and more companies are going towards launching product. I used to work at Google. I was the first Google engineer here in Israel. And research was kind of forgotten. Research was like the realm of academia only. And it's for data scientists, we have all the data in these big companies, and if we cannot talk about it, it's really frustrating. So my pitch to you is going to be about research. I think there is a huge potential for big companies to have internal research where not only you push the envelope of innovation, but you also publish about it. And we are pretty sure at Yahoo, we're very proud at Yahoo Research that we are actually doing exactly that. So every strategic effort of the company has a research team working together with the engineers. And once we launch, we also publish about it. So our presence in Israel, we have the largest pure research office in Haifa. We contribute to big strategic goals of the company. So for those of you who were here in this room in the morning, you saw some efforts of launches that we've done and papers we publish about in mail and in search. At the end of the day, in the same room, you will get about ads. And mail search ads are really the focus areas of our team. We have an engineering team in Tel Aviv with whom we're working in ads and in search. And we are proud because we love the example of Intel, actually, that being in Israel, being remote, we have a major impact in the company. It's one thing to using a big brand and just to be like, remote office they forget about. But I think for all Israelis, when you work with an American corporation, it's critical to be central to that company. And, we have the big brothers of Intel showing the example. Kira is mentioning that. We have a good IBM research presence. I used to work at IBM, so I have just respect. But it's good, and that's a key thing for all the people here working in American companies. Make sure you're critical to the company. And now talking about challenges, what the most difficult challenge of data science at Yahoo. I know in Israel people are joking, oh, you still exist? Oh, really? You're doing stuff? I know. In Israel, it's a Google monopoly. But if you go to Asia, actually I even went to Ethiopia, and my taxi driver gave me a Yahoo mail address. And I used to say, yeah, cool, you're using my features. So you go to Asia, you go to Africa, you'll see, and of course to the US, but you'll see a lot of Yahoo Mail users. We have 250 million users. We have 1 billion users. You might search on Google, but you land on Yahoo, because we have tons of contents. And the key challenge, and it's not only true for us, it's true for all of us guys, is really this balance between being, finding insights for this content, because we have so much data, we have so much resources. It's a feast for researchers, but you want to personalize, and you need to respect privacy. Privacy is key. For all of you guys who are working in data science, be super careful not to infringe privacy. Don't be creepy. Don't scare the user. And I think it's our role to try to balance these three things: personalization, wisdom of crowd, privacy. And when we solve this triangle, we'll be able to really, bring value to the user. But if you go too much in one direction, you will lose it. So that will be my personal insight.
So when we first conceived this conference several years ago, it was gathering for big data and data science. But if you look at the program this year, there's a lot about AI. So my question to the panelists is this current resurgence of AI all hype, or is it real? And secondly, how should people in the big data and data science community think about AI, and how can they contribute?
So I'll start with that. First of all, AI has been here since the 60s, maybe even before that. And we had the spring AI and the winter of AI. Some of the things people start forgetting about and remembering. The only thing that changed right now is that we're starting to have hardware which is cheap. This is why we store so much data. This is why we have this, let's say, reliving of AI, data science, etc. Well, one of the challenges, though, that I do see is the fact that a lot of people do not understand AI deeply enough. Mostly than that, the role of a data analyst and a data scientist are not quite clear. And most organizations are struggling to build data science organizations just because the definition of what's AI, what's machine learning is not quite clear. And I'm a big believer of building, as a data scientist, platform for analysts and people who are business driven to actually start building on them. If we're talking specifically when we say AI, probably everybody's thinking a little bit about deep learning, etc., which is the latest buzz. Like SVM was before that, like Bayesian networks were before that. For me, the biggest change that deep learning is getting us is that it's transferring what we were doing as machine learning people with deep academic knowledge into engineering problem, which makes it so much easier to build this type of groups, because you just need, well, not very simple, but you can build an engineering group with a little bit of research support instead of what we used to have as full academic groups that only they can do this.
I believe that AI, actually, it's not just an hype, of course. And I think it's kind of...
I hope not. I'm organizing conferences.
It's some kind of continuation or even kind of complementary for data science. So it goes beyond and adding knowledge representation, reasoning, stuff that we don't have as a data science in the data science, but we do have in the AI.
I tend to agree with Kira that it's a lot about the definition of AI, because since the coin was termed, it had multiple different definitions. It used to refer to expert systems and to other things back several decades ago. So some people say AI and mean deep learning, others mean data science or machine learning. I think that I see AI as machines replacing humans in cognitive tasks. And I think that in this sense, we did have significant breakthroughs in the recent years. I think that deep learning brings great breakthroughs in visual understanding, in natural language understanding, speech recognition, even wins Go, which you can argue if it's a cognitive task or not, but visual understanding is definitely is. So I think that it's not a hype, it's something that really happens. But you should be careful not to be too futuristic about it, because people start to say, okay, now we're going to have a super intelligence that is going to rule the world and so on, and you won't be able to understand whether it's a robot or a person, like in Westworld and so on. So it's not so close as far as I see it, and I think that we still have a way to go there.
I think there was a really nice quote lately about everybody's talking about singularity. I think they were talking about singularity even in the 60s, right? Somebody said as thinking about this is like thinking about overpopulation in Mars, right? Eventually we're going to go there. Eventually there's going to be overpopulation, but it's so far away. And before that, we just need to think about a machine vision system understanding what's a banana and what's a cat, right? This is approximately where we're at right now. Right?
It's great that you mentioned this example, because when I was in undergraduate studies, it was a classical example of why computers are not good, because they are worse than little kids in distinguishing between bananas and other kinds of food, and now they are much better than humans. So we did make a progress there.
So guys, if all of you agree that it's not hype, I'm going to say it's hype, otherwise it's a boring panel. So AI is a hype. Why is it hype? Because it's a marketing term, you know, and it's actually exactly as Amitai said, it's a question of terminology. Are we talking about machine learning? Are we talking about dialogue system, about knowledge representation? There is no such thing as really AI. It's portfolio of many, many different things. Some things are going to work, definitely. Data science does work. Machine learning does work. Deep learning doesn't work for everything. One thing that really worries me, though, is that when you put an umbrella term like that, it becomes a hype because it can do everything. And I'm a dinosaur, according to, compared to these young people. I did my graduate degree before my PhD in AI, and I dumped it because it was not working. It was only on toy system. That's when I moved to search, fortunately, because search was working because it was automated. So AI was a hype 30 years ago. It was just toy systems. Today, I would say AI still, as a term, is hype. It's just, umbrella term to mask all kind of deficiencies. But some technologies, data science, machine learning, work. The danger, though, is as soon as you use this kind of black box, not only for the hype, but for the technology itself, is that you stop being interpretable. So that was one of the big criticisms of machine learning. It's even worse for deep learning. There are data scientists here. Can you raise your hands? Who's a practicing data scientist? Who of you guys, who is using deep learning? Okay, guys, be careful. You're playing with fire. Because you have to be careful not to be lazy, because it's very easy to say, no, I'm not going to start thinking. I come from search. When I was doing search at Google, we were not using machine learning for ranking because we could not interpret the failure. Now it has changed. Then machine learning suddenly seems safe as compared to deep learning. The thing is, you have to interpret your results. If you build a black box, you feed everything and you let the system just decide, you're going to get lazy. You're not going to be, you're just going to be feeder of food to a black box. So careful. Deep learning can be dangerous if you don't interpret your result, if you're not in control. Don't let the data control you. You're supposed to control the data. And I will just finish with a metaphor. If anyone plays ping pong here? Table tennis? In China, everyone raises their hands. Okay, no. Okay, tennis? A little bit more. Okay, so my metaphor is not going to work. But in ping pong, actually, when you're really, really good, you practice with rubbers which are thinner so that you're forced to do perfect moves. And then in game, you can have something a little bit faster. If you take a fast racket, you get lazy and your game goes down. Same thing for deep learning. You get lazy, and then your application will be worse and worse. So be careful. You use deep learning, fine, but understand why, for what. Vision, it's awesome. NLP, here and there. Don't even think of using it as is. You need to think. Don't forget you're humans, because the machine, the AI, is not there yet. So it's a hype.
And on that note, our time is up. Let's thank our panelists.